And
so beautiful.
there you go.
I love that town.
Wow.
Donald Trump
Amazing.
is trying to clean up an attack he made yesterday on the city hosting next month's Republican National. What are you feeling?
I love Milwaukee.
I know you do.
I mean,
while speaking to
it's
House
amazing.
Republicans, Trump called Milwaukee, quote, a horrible city. The comment was first reported by Punchbowl News' Jake Sherman and later confirmed by an NBC News source who was inside the room. Instead of being the site of the RNC, Milwaukee is also the largest, in addition to being the site of the RNC, Milwaukee is also the largest
you
city
know, Willie,
in the key battleground state of Wisconsin.
you know, Willie, what was so funny was, so you actually had Republicans saying, oh, he never said this about Milwaukee, right? Mm-hmm. He never said this about Milwaukee, but he later admitted he said it about Milwaukee, right? Hey, can I just say something? Mm-hmm. To Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee.
So good.
So they start, Willie, by saying, we're not saying this about Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
We love it.
And then they come out and find out that Trump has admitted that he said all these horrible things about Milwaukee. And they go, oh, well, he was just talking about, crime. Then another guy said they're talking about, I guess, the Brewers bullpen. Willie, help me out here. I don't understand. Why would you do that? Like, they keep...
I don't understand either. It's so good.
They keep making it up. Just Milwaukee's wonderful. Just drink it down, my friend. Just drink it down.
I mean,
your thoughts, Willie?
Opening the show with a pair of tall boys of the Beast is just one of the great moves in the history of Morning Joe. I just feel a little left out. I've got a lean cup of coffee sitting over here.
Yeah.
That looks delicious.
Let me tell you. It is delicious. Drink it up, friends. Drink up Milwaukee.
It's good.
But it's like Alice Cooper said. This is a special place, right? Like, I don't understand. Let's bring in a guy that knows something.
Yeah, he knows
about old Milwaukee. That's Wisconsin's own Charlie Sykes. Charlie, they can try to spin it. First, they lied because, of course, they're Trump Republicans. Said, oh, he never said that.
Right.
And his spokesperson said, oh, that's BS. Trump never said that. And then, of course, we find out later, Mickey, I hate beer. You don't have to pretend anymore.
Okay.
And then later, they admitted that he said it. And we're spinning the rest of the day. But the fact is, let's just say what it is. I mean, Donald Trump trashed the most important city in the upcoming 2024 election. You know why? Because he's Donald Trump.
Yeah. And then, by the way, Joe and Mickey, you're making me thirsty this morning. Even by Milwaukee standards, it's a little bit early. No, I mean, this thing is a farce inside of a fiasco. It was really interesting watching local Republicans struggling to get their stories straight after Donald Trump dumps on Milwaukee. But again, thank you for the montage at the beginning, because look, I am a Milwaukeean. I've been here for a very, very long time, and look. We have our struggles, there are messes, there are challenges, but this is a great city on a great lake in a beautiful region. The Bucks, the Brewers, Harley-Davidson. We have a fantastic lakefront art museum, symphony, ballet. Wait till people see the range of restaurants that we have here. And then Donald Trump comes in and dumps on all of this. Now, by the way, the idea of having this convention in Milwaukee, I mean, this was really the brainchild of Reince Priebus, who has apparently learned nothing over the last 8 years. I regret not giving him a copy of Rick Wilson's book, Everything Trump Touches Dies. But here we are with Donald Trump trashing Milwaukee. And of course, you can imagine how that's playing here. And so you're seeing Republicans in, denying it or coming up with various spins. But I guess the unfortunate thing is, that, given the Trumpian media, this is going to be a talking point that, goes from Trump didn't say it or Trump meant this to, you know what? Trump was absolutely right. Milwaukee is trash. But I think you made a key point here. Milwaukee can't take it too personally. I think Milwaukee's going to look gorgeous over the summer. We have these fantastic lakefront festivals. But Trump says this about every major city. I mean, have you noticed this? He's trashed New York. He's trashed Washington, D.C. He trashed Baltimore. Donald Trump hates urban America. You know, and again, this is not a news story. It's not a breaking story. He wants to be president of the United States, but only the real United States. Apparently, not great cities like Milwaukee. But what a blunder! What a way to kick all this off. And if Mika doesn't want that beer, I am definitely down for it later this afternoon.
I will not waste it.
We're going to FedEx it to you. We're going to FedEx it to you. You know,
it's going to go in my plans.
You know, Mika, it's so interesting. A couple of years ago, I was having a conversation with Mark Halperin, who, you know, has traveled all over the country. Mm-hmm. And I said, what's your favorite city in America? You know, and he said, that's easy. It's Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well,
he was like, he said, you'd absolutely love it. It's called the City of Festivals for a reason. There's always something going on in Milwaukee. Of course, they've got great sports teams. But they've got this great urban downtown. They've got an incredible art museum. You know, Georgia O'Keeffe is a Milwaukee native, and they have the largest collection of Georgia O'Keeffe artwork in Milwaukee. There, it's a really vibrant, wonderful city. And so, again, it just shows you how clueless this guy is who lives in his Palm Beach Country Club.
He just doesn't feel like going anywhere.
And he lives in a skyscraper in Manhattan. So he doesn't. So outside of Palm Beach and Manhattan, he hates the rest of America.
And fun fact about Milwaukee, it has a large Polish population.
Huge Polish population.
Lots of Poles there.
It does. And what's nice about Milwaukee is you could have chosen from any number of beers for your tall boy this morning. You went with Milwaukee's best. I respect the choice. You could have done PBR. Yeah. You could have done a Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, of course. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And, of course, Giannis lives there, which is sort of the closing argument. I will not to inject fact into this conversation for Donald Trump, but when they pivoted and said, he was just talking about crime, the murder rate is down 39% in the first quarter.
Whoa.
This year in the city of Milwaukee, following a national trend of violent crime dipping this year. So, to Milwaukee. The Biden campaign jumped all over Trump's comment, posting a photo on social media of the president hosting the Milwaukee Bucks at the White House in 2021, along with the caption, I happen to love Milwaukee. The campaign also is now selling T-shirts that read, quote, not a horrible city, over a map of Wisconsin and Milwaukee there, with a star. Meanwhile, the Democratic mayor of Milwaukee had this to say about Trump's attack on his city.
Donald Trump wants to talk about things that he thinks are horrible. All of us lived through his presidency, so right back at you, buddy. I'd say that. Look, obviously, Donald Trump is wrong about something yet again. I find it kind of perplexing. I find it kind of strange that he would insult the largest city in Wisconsin to insult the state that's hosting your convention. I think it's kind of bizarre, actually. It's kind of unhinged.
Yeah, it is unhinged. Let's also bring in the host of Way Too Early, White House Bureau Chief Jonathan Lemire, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and associate editor of the Washington Post and MSNBC political analyst, also a huge fan of Milwaukee, Eugene Robinson, as well as Washington Bureau Chief at USA Today, Susan Page. You know, Jonathan Lemire, a couple weeks ago I said, well, you know, we're not sure if this Trump trial is going to penetrate voters, swing voters, and whether they're going to notice. Let me tell you who did notice what happened yesterday. Milwaukee's most important newspaper, Wisconsin's most important newspaper. They wrote it up on the front page that Donald Trump trashed their city, said it was a horrible city.
The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel led with that, as you might expect. I will note, no drink service here at 30 Rock this morning, unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that. But this is an unorthodox campaign strategy, to say the least, to attack the biggest city in one of the biggest battleground states in this election. I can only imagine what Donald Trump has in store for, say, Philadelphia, or Atlanta, or Phoenix, or Detroit. Like, just go after all of them. And to Charlie's point, this is certainly an us versus them rhetoric that he's used quite a bit, painting cities, which are more liberal, more progressive, more diverse, as less American than the real red states in rural parts of this country. So that's nothing new. We should also note, in 2016, the RNC, when Trump was nominated, was in Cleveland. He trashed Cleveland, too, and then there wasn't a RNC in 2020. They had it at the White House because of the pandemic. But this is something that is breaking through. You're right. We've seen the polls move just a point or two in the wake of Trump's trial. We see Democrats still struggle to keep that in the news, although it certainly will be forefront of the debate in just 2 weeks' time. But this is what the Biden campaign has been looking for. Trump out of the courtroom, back on the trail, making news and making news that hurts them. And this was such an own goal, if you will, yesterday in D.C.
Well, and this is why, of course, the Trump campaign wanted Donald Trump to stay in the courthouse. They didn't want him on the campaign trail. They don't want him on Capitol Hill because he says really stupid things. He is a human gaffe machine, Gene Robinson, and here he did it with Milwaukee yesterday. I mean, the thing he doesn't understand about these Midwest cities, especially, when we were in Cleveland a couple of years ago for the convention, how long ago? Was that 16? Actually, very long.
16, is that the khaki gate?
Decades ago.
Khaki gate.
Yeah, so when we were in Cleveland, the thing I noted about Cleveland was, first of all, a great city, but also the immense pride people took when we'd go around and say, hey, where are you from? We've been in Denver. We've been all over the place.
They love their team.
Oh, we're in Denver. We're here. They're like, Cleveland. Been here my whole life. I love it. I found the same thing with, Milwaukee. People in Milwaukee, and it's not Democrats in Milwaukee. It's not Republicans in Milwaukee.
It's Milwaukee.
It's everybody in Milwaukee outside of the Republican politicians who love trashing it. They take great pride in their city for a great reason. It's a great town.
Yeah, absolutely. And these cities like Cleveland, like Milwaukee, that Donald Trump hates, have had such a rebound over the past couple of decades, and their downtowns are sparkling and active and so much fun. That art museum that Charlie was talking about, the design by Santiago Calatrava, the famous architect. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous there.
Gorgeous
on the lakefront. It is. It's a great city. But so that's a crazy thing for Donald Trump to say, right? But it just reminds me that he says crazy, irrational, weird and unhinged things all the time. He doesn't make sense. He's not. There's something seriously wrong inside his head, and this is yet another manifestation. We're going to see it again and again and again because that's the way he is. And so, I guess the Biden campaign is just really, really happy that he's out there, just sort of spewing it out.